Alright, this is going to be an overview of Asia session December 20th and basically all what we saw. So, what we were looking at was USD JPY, Euro JPY, and CAD JPY. They were the cleanest pairs, and I thought that because we had this 4 hour, that price was coming back up into over here during Asia. Euro JPY kind of had something similar. CAD JPY, I believe it was, yeah, on the 1 hour, for the other JPYs. So what I was seeing was this 4 hour level, but I also saw this 1 hour range extreme price was coming back up into. So first we'll start off with UJ. Price was coming back up into here, into that 4 hour level, which is this big blue box. I did identify some sponsor areas of the lower low push down here and up here. So seeing price come into that, I wanted to see what happened. But I didn't really like I put a possible entry here, but I did not enter on it because I didn't like what I was seeing. I saw it tap this 4 hour level, but what it did was it created liquidity right up here. A lot of equal lows. And then it pushed down, which looked like inducement for this kind of higher, this more key level, which was more at the range extreme, right? That's where we want to be trading, not kind of in the middle of the range. Even though this is the 4 hour point of interest, the last 1 hour range is up here, so we want to be taking trades here or even up here if we think this is going to at least come down and test this level. So after this big drop down, I expected it to be relatively range bound and choppy, so trying to enter at extremes of the range. So I did not really like that, and then when we got a little bit closer, we saw the price action was not very good. Not much big imbalance, and there was this aggressive push back. Yeah, so it never really got down to these levels. It did break structure, but then again, like I said, coming back into it, it was just such impulsive price action that I really didn't like the looks of it, so I didn't even enter. But you can see how the supply was still rather valid because we got this push down, but the demand was much stronger. So even entering off this, right, if I would have entered here, I probably would have just closed it, with a slight profit or at break even, because I didn't like just how slow this was moving down, how aggressive this push is. So with that, I just decided not to enter it. And actually, if we take just the 4 hour level, because I believe I expanded that point of interest, which is not what I usually do. But if you just take this 4 hour level, on the first touch, it actually didn't even touch it here. See that? If you just do the 4 hour point of interest and not these wick lows, the body, it didn't even touch it because the body had no wick. It didn't even touch it. So I further thought, okay, this is just inducement to come up to here. Now, once we saw it enter up here, it created this big push up, not really much to trade off of, right? If this were to break, like you could say, okay, break here, enter here. I just didn't like that. There was an entry though, because this was the higher high. It broke that, pushed lower, retested it, made a lower low. Broke this, right? Broke it, retested it, broke it. You could have entered here, somewhere up here. I wasn't awake then to trade it. It was a possible entry you could have made down into here, just scalping it. But yeah, I got that bottom level off of this 30-minute point of interest sponsoring the higher high. So that would have been your next place to get a bounce. And you actually did see a good bounce in this area that could have even been tradable in London. Break. Maybe it would have been harder to get in, but break up. another break. Yeah, you didn't really get a retracement. But that's it for UJ. I didn't end up taking any of these trades because I didn't like any of them, to be honest with you. So looking at this was that 30-minute area. Price did just barely touch it. Yeah, price did just barely touch it. And then it broke structure. Didn't really retrace well, but then it retraced here, broke structure again. So I was thinking maybe entry off of something in here. But then I saw the liquidity appear, and I just didn't like this very impulsive movement up, so I didn't enter off that. And it came into this level. May have came to the 50%. It did. Oh yeah. So it just touched the 50% of that, which was beautiful, and rejected. Trying to see, maybe there was a trade here. Probably not though. Yeah, no, there wasn't. So it broke this. I guess you could have gotten in here if you wanted to play engulfing style entry. Broke down. No real retest. You got this retest here, right? And then a breakdown. You could have entered here at the beginning at London Open, would have actually been a really nice entry. Down probably to these demand levels because this one's not valid anymore. This demand level right here, you know, so you could have break, right, changing character or low, could have entered here, or ideally the safest entry would have been something like that. 12 pip stop, write it down to here, a 4.5. The 50% of that would have been a 7. Not the best trades, but for Asia scalps, I guess those would be London scalps at that point. So last one is CAD JPY. CAD JPY was interesting because what we had was this 30-minute range, right? And this one sponsoring the lower low, right? But then you had some imbalance in here, and this point of interest at the range extreme, right? So that made me question what was the validity of this. So I saw this come in, tap that first point of interest at the 50% and reject pretty well. Retraced and pushed down. So I really didn't break it till here, so I didn't even get a good changing character plus break of structure, if you want to consider this, but I don't like that. I like a more obvious one. Plus it created this trendline liquidity here in an unmitigated area above. So I saw it rally back up into this, especially with this aggressive, not looking to enter off that. I don't like that. They all kind of went the same. Then it taps into this, rejects hard, does a slight retracement. So you could have looked for an entry possibly here. And targeted at least here for a nice 3. If not this liquidity here, just for an Asia scalp, and that would have played out exactly. That's just me reanalyzing it right now. But again, it's past my typical entry time. I'm usually not awake around 1 in the morning US time, so I would not have taken that trade. And typically the trades that you take then don't work out the best. But they can, obviously. So those were my options. I didn't like Asia regular open, so I didn't trade it. I saw it, nothing was clean to me. I didn't like the price action coming up in, even though some examples were there, like on UJ, where it looked like it was showing the entry pattern at validity. I just didn't break of structure, retest, break of structure. It shows it here, but watching this retracement, I just didn't like it, and you would have had a chance to get out. So understanding these things all coming together led to a no trade execution. And that'll be it for Asia's session.